I tagged myself. Hello everybody, Dave from Area Arachnids here. We're going to start Tarantula Tag Part 2. I don't know why when you flip the phone around is everything backwards, like looking in a mirror. Probably because it's like looking in a mirror, right? I don't like that because everyone, I mean, everything's weird. Maybe it'll look fine on the on TV, I don't know. Yeah, never really pay attention to that. Anyway, so yeah, Tarantula Tag Part 2. A little bit different. I explained it before. We're going to go from across the Atlantic Ocean. And because I'm starting it, I get to make up all the rules. And that's kind of fun. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tag somebody from the other side of the Atlantic and somebody from this side of the Atlantic. Then we'll have the ping pong bowl going back and forth between two different things up at the same time. We'll do a playlist here on Area Arachnids, so everybody will be able to come back here and check out anybody that's done Tarantula Tag Part 2. I already know who I'm going to ask and what I'm going to ask. So it's going to be 12 questions that we answer, and then that 13th question will be the question that's asked of whoever. So question number 1 is if you could pick one genus, and only one, people, don't cheat and pick 2. You could pick one genus of tarantula that you could keep, and that's the only one that you could keep, but you could keep a bunch of them. What would it be and why? I thought about this because originally I would have said Ephapopus, and I do enjoy the Ephapopus, but I really like the Tarantula genus, to be honest with you. I think if I could only keep one, that would be the one that I would keep. You have the attitude, you have the feeding response, you have no idea if they're going to fly out of the enclosure, so you have to be on your toes. You have the different color variations, and the patterning on them are spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. So, again, it took me a while to think about this morning on exactly what I would want to answer this with, and that's where I decided to go. Question number two. If you could give one piece of advice to a beginner keeper, what would it be? This is not a very hard choice either, and I didn't have to think about this much. The answer to this question is books. Look up books on tarantulas. The hard printed copy books. We've gotten away as a society from books that were written and researched, and we rely on Google way too much. And there is just way too much misinformation on Google, not just in this hobby, but just in general. The misinformation on Google is unbelievable. There's some good stuff, don't get me wrong, and starting with Google is a good way to base things, but I would say, the Tarantula Keepers, get the book that's your state or your country, the arachnids or spiders of. I have a reptile book from Pennsylvania, all the reptiles and amphibians. I also have a book, a little pocket book for trees, and I don't know where it's at, but I have it. And I have one of arachnids and spiders and different insects of Pennsylvania. And of course, I have the Tarantula Keeper's Guide. I have Mike Jacoby's book. I think that's the Animal Planet Tarantulas. And then I have the thing that I downloaded from Bugs and Stuff, which would be, or no, sorry, not Bugs and Stuff, but Andrew Smith, his downloadables, that has a myriad of different books that are quite expensive if you go to buy them on hard copy. But I have to look up the exact place of where to find those. I can't remember the actual website that he has them, but it's only like $10 or $15 for you to download these books. And there's one on all the African species. There's one on Costa Rica. There's one on the Mexican and North American species. I can't remember all of them, but there's really good information in books. And these were written by people that went out in the field to do it. And that's how they do their stuff. They write it down, they put it in books. Not a lot of times you're going to see, Google, and you're going to find this kind of information. Also, I would say, I recommend finding somebody in the hobby that you're comfortable talking to, that is knowledgeable about the hobby. And there's a lot of people that believe that they are, that really aren't. And there's a lot of people that aren't, that actually kind of are, and they just don't want to admit it. So find those people. That's how I did it. I found a few people that kind of took me under their wing, showed me the ropes on the groups, and I learned how to ask questions. I learned who to ask questions to. And I have great friendships with a lot of those people that I would never hesitate to question any of the information that they give me or will give me in the future. Number 3, if there's a positive change in me that I could see that is related to the hobby, what would that be? And that is basically this, and being a lot less introverted, being able to talk to people a little bit more. And I'll give you an example. Even last year, and I talked to Ruth Cowper quite a bit on Facebook, and she sells tarantulas and reptiles at expos all over the Midwest. She comes to Buffalo. She goes to Tinley, all over the place. And I went to Buffalo last year, and I was actually kind of nervous to go talk to her. And we've talked to her many times because just my nature. But being able to do this and talk to people a lot more, that's kind of gone away a little bit. So I'm a little bit more comfortable with people. So that's probably the biggest positive change in me because of the hobby. Question number 4 is, what is my regret, the biggest regret on something that I bought, and my biggest regret on something that I didn't buy? So we'll start with the didn't buy because that's pretty easy. It's the Megaphoboma mesomacellus. I had it in my shopping cart a couple times, and I took it out to buy 3 or 4 or 5 different spiders that cost the same. And the reason being that it was such an expensive spider, but it's really at the top of my wish list, so I really wished I would have got it before. And my biggest regret on buying is probably a lot of what you see behind me. And I have a lot of stuff coming in, way too much stuff coming in, but there's reasons for it. You know, a couple Lasiodora sacs from Difficilis and Paribana. I'm getting a multitude of those because I'm trying to help people out with, you know, decreasing the amount of the thousands that they're going to have. And we'll use them for giveaways later. And I have somebody here that I want to give a couple to. I don't want to get into details about that. It's not Peyton, by the way, but somebody else that I want to give a couple to here that's keeping tarantulas made a big impact on their life. So those are probably it. I just have way too many. And I wished I would have thought about what I wanted to do instead of just looking at pictures. And it's a big thing. People look at pictures and they eye buy, you know, ooh, look at that. And that's where you get this, you know. And if I had more room, this wouldn't be a big deal. But because my wife hates them, I'm kind of stuck in this corner until we have a bigger place. So, you know, this bedroom's a decent sized bedroom, but it's not really all that big when you consider, you know, there's 3 dressers, a couple shelves. The closet is pretty much full of my wife's clothes. The shelf is full of videos and books and stuff from the kids. And this is kind of where I really have to keep stuff. And then over on her area over there is where we have the geckos and the turtle. Fortunately, not fortunately, because it's not really fortunately, but she sleeps out in the living room because she can't sleep in on a bed. She has to be kind of upright. So it's more comfortable for her to sleep there. And again, I think I've talked about this before. When my work schedule was the way it was, she didn't want to interrupt me or, you know, disturb me when she was coming to bed. So she started sleeping out in the other room. Okay. Question number 5. What is my favorite part about the hobby and my least favorite part about the hobby? Well, my favorite part of the hobby is just interacting with the spiders, learning about them, watching them, making enclosures. That's a lot of fun doing. I know a lot of people really enjoy doing enclosures, and I think people overdo it because they have a spider in an enclosure for about 3 or 4 months, and then they get this bright idea that, ooh, I can make this, and then they want to make it, and they're constantly moving them. So that's my favorite part, is to set up things for them, try to be as natural as I possibly can with their enclosures, which kind of hinders some of my video abilities because of the way that they're set up. And my least favorite part of the hobby, I think, is, and this may sound kind of, it may sound bad, I don't know, but it's people. It's 2 different types of people. It's the people that are just getting into the hobby that think that they know something because they went on Google, or that the pet store told them one way. And they buy this cute little 1-inch Brachypelma albopilosum. They get an 18 by 12 by 12 Exoterra. They put about this much dirt in it, a little plant, and that's it. And they put a picture on Facebook groups to say, ooh, how do you like my setup? This is my new Brachypelma albopilosum. And then people go on, and yes, some people are idiots and jerks about the way that they respond to stuff. But the people that do respond say, oh, that's not the right setup. This is probably what you should do. And then the person that posted that thing goes back and says, this is what the pet store told me. This is what I'm going to do. I don't really care what you're asking me. Or the people that ask for advice and then don't want to take it. That I really, really despise when people ask for advice and it's not the advice they want to hear. They don't want to listen to it, and then they talk about how elitist you are. And there are people that are elitists in the hobby. There are people that believe that their way is the only way, and which is very, very untrue, because, again, people base their stuff on their collection, where they're at, their climate, and everything else. They don't take into consideration other people. I've done it myself, you know. I've given advice to people that live in high humidity areas that I didn't really take into consideration, you know, what they're using for substrate and odds and ends and stuff like that. So people really is my least favorite part about the hobby. Again, that may sound bad, but please don't take offense to that. Number 6, if I could do a collaboration video with any tarantula YouTuber, who would it be and why? And this is pretty easy, although there are a lot of people I'd love to do it with. This is my light, it needs to be charged. There are a lot of people I would love to do collab videos with, and I plan on doing some. One with Tom Moran. We're going to set something up with Andrew's Tarantulas. I'll probably do something with Kat. Just got to figure out some stuff. Again, Peyton's here, so we could do something anytime. But I think the people that I would like to do the video with the most would be Trey and April Beck. I want to go to Georgia, and I want to go in the damn reptile room, and I want to touch that manta, the ray. I really want to touch it. I just want to touch it. I don't want to get stung by the lionfish, so you're going to have to put them off this side. But I would really love to come down there and hang out with Trey and April for a day. You know, maybe when the kids are a little bit older, and you know, we could go on a little trip. Alex plays in Florida every year, the beginning of spring. So I don't know how far Fort Myers is from where they're at, but I'm sure that's a hell of a drive. But I would love to go there and just hang out for the day and see their stuff and check out their venomous snakes and all their other snakes, except for the green, what is it, the tree python. Those things freak me out. I don't know why, they just freak me out. The way that they're coiled like that, just, I think it has to do a lot with the Jungle Book. You know, the way that I think Caw was the name of the snake, right? Kind of coiled up there, and that kind of freaked me out. So I've always had not a fear, but just, it's like they're watching me everywhere I go. Okay, so number 7, what are my feelings on handling? You know, but I really don't have any. What I do have is the glorification of handling old worlds. I don't like that. I don't like, you know, just making it this great thing. Oh, look, I could put it on my hand. Now, there's people that do some videos that I respect and I admire. Lars, he knows who he is. Anton Center handles a lot of his pokies, but he does it in a way that's pretty natural. He lets them come out, they just crawl all over him, and he puts them back. He doesn't force them to do anything. He doesn't put them on their arms. And believe it or not, and this, I can't prove this fact that people do this. I know it's done, because I've seen people talk about it. I've seen people that said, yes, this is what we do. They cool them down. They really, really cool them down, whether they put them in the refrigerator or buy an air conditioner, which makes them lethargic. They get them out, and they put them on their arms, put them on their hands, they take pictures, and they look cool. And people that do that, or, you know, they're the people that they would probably skydive out of an airplane. You know, they're that living on the edge junkies. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying not to hold your old world tarantulas. You do what you want to do. Just don't glorify it on the Facebook groups, because it gives a bad impression upon people that don't know better. That's the part about it that I don't like, is that people that don't know better are going to see it and think that it's okay to do, and those are the people that are going to get bit. Number 8, what is my biggest mistake in the hobby? And that was just not too long ago with my Seriocosmus ori sac. I just screwed that all up, and it just pisses me off that I did it, because I took advice and I did what people told me to do with, you know, the eggs. I pulled them I pulled them 3 days past the day I was told to pull them. They all had legs. They were all looking good. Some of them were still attached. And, you know, I put them in the coffee filter, did the whole incubator thing with the water, the holes, the whole 9 yards, and they dried up. So I was a little ticked about that. So losing a sack of over 100 little babies that are not very common in the hobby was really a big blow to me, because it was the first egg sac that I produced here that was actually viable. So yeah, that definitely was it. We're going to pause you here, and we'll be right back. Okay, I'm trying to do this as quick as I can. Believe me, I know we're already at 10 minutes or so. I wanted to get this done in 18 minutes tops. Number 9, what are the goals for my channel? Well, to be a millionaire, really. That's really what my goals are. Since I'm already cooler than Petco from the Dark Den, I'm way cooler than Exotic Slayer. Definitely extremely cooler than Cat from Cat's Tarantulas. But no, really, my goals are just to grow and to help people grow their collection, feel comfortable in the hobby. You know, you can come here and get information. I'm not a flashy YouTuber. I'm just everyday, down to earth, simple. This is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to see from me. This is it. You know, I'm not going nuts with editing and all the flashy little things. I don't have the time. B, I don't have the understanding of how to do it. And C, it's not really me. So I don't want to pretend to not be me. I just want to be me and just do things, you know, as a soon-to-be 49-year-old man that just likes doing spider videos and you know, relaying information to you guys the best that I possibly can. Number 10, and this one's an interesting thing that I came up with. Number 10 is give 3 shout-outs to YouTube channels. And I'm going to go with 3 newer channels. And hopefully, again, I probably won't link them down below because I still haven't figured out how to get that done because I do everything on the phone. I could probably go back and edit them in. That's what I'll do. I'll go back and edit them in after the video is up. I could do that through the YouTube editing app. Number 1 on that list is going to be Winton Night from Australia. Young kid, 12 years old, spectacular videos. You know, his room is set up perfectly. He's got the big mirrors, probably for his closet behind him, so you kind of get that off view. He's got a big collection of centipedes, a handful of tarantulas, all from Australia, of course, because they can't import stuff in. I feel bad for those guys there, but I understand the reasons for that. Just a very knowledgeable kid that his idol is Steve Irwin. And, you know, I guess a lot of people from Australia's idol would be Steve Irwin, and he is one of the people that I admired. I was heartbroken when, you know, it happened to him. We all thought that it probably could, but the way it happened, we didn't expect. But go check out Winton Night. Number 2 is Super Tarantella, Shanti Perez. Go check her out. She's just a wonderful person. Just good-natured, absolutely wonderful. Would probably do anything for anybody. I could feel that from her, and she's, you know, really come a long way since her channel started. Her collection's grown. She's in front of the camera a lot. She did this really, really funny video where she made up this song to Eye of the Tiger. You got to go check that out because it's absolutely hilarious. And kudos to her for doing stuff like that. I wouldn't do stuff like that. I could be funny, but no way would I dress up, and I can't play any kind of music anyway. So, yeah, I wouldn't do anything like that. And the third channel that I want to give a shout out to would be Spydey Vee, Vic. He doesn't have a lot of tarantulas because of the things that he's going through, but the ones that he has are good, and he does good stuff, and he's trying to figure out different ways to keep his channel positive and to keep, you know, people coming and watching him. So, you know, definitely go check him out. And, you know, again, Super Tarantella, Spydey Vee, and Winton Night. Go check out all 3 of those and give them a shout out and tell them I sent you. Question number 11. It's not really a question. This is going to be a prompt. So I got to pause you here, and then I got to take you somewhere. This is going to be to show everybody the favorite setup that you did as a tarantula keeper. So this is something that you set up, not somebody else's picture, something that you did all on your own. And we're going to go do that right now. Okay, guys, so we're going to do the favorite enclosure setup that you did, and this is it. This is Nikita. Again, I probably could have used the NCO Catella olivacea because I really do enjoy that setup, and even some of the, you know, brachypelmas that I have over here on the side, the setups are really kind of nice too. But I really liked, you know, this piece of wood that I found. I had it for a while and I couldn't figure out who to use it with. But when she came in and I took her apart and cleaned everything, it fit perfectly right where it's at. And then, of course, that piece of wood there that branches back, you could see where she's made her hole. And then, again, it goes to the back side. So I could see her here. We could see her here. We can't see her from the top because of the amount of webbing that she's done. Now, this skull really does no purpose other than, you know, if we put a feeder in there, it's a good hiding spot for them. But and the flowers were originally in there, so I just left them. That's the reason that they're in there. I'm not a big flower person, but, you know, she was used to them. Not that she would have cared if I took them out, but I left them in there. Yeah, so this is really my favorite enclosure by far. And it's just a, you know, normal exoterra. Not a lot of substrate here. It kind of slopes up a little bit in the back, but not a lot. Because of the way that she was already in here, I just kind of mimicked the way she was living already. You know, so I probably could have, you know, sloped it a little bit more in the back, and, you know, this could have gone up higher, but everything that she's done, she just stays back there. And she'll come out here at night. She'll sit right here in this area. Matter of fact, that's where I saw her first thing this morning, was right there. So this is definitely my favorite setup. The only regret that I have about it is I wished I would have took that out and put something different back there. You know, like piece of something like that, or made something myself for back there. So I'll keep that in mind in the future, because I did take it out of the Tarantella olivacea's enclosure, but I didn't put anything back there as a backdrop. Now I wished I would have done that. But she won't be able to stay in there her whole life, so she'll have to move out of there into something probably like this, or something this size. And again, they'll be semi-arboreal. They will live up high and in a tree. Not all the way up, you know, but they will live higher up off the ground, and they will find hollowed out logs, and they will dig, and they will web, and they will do all kinds of other stuff. She webbed big time in her other enclosure, the E. olivacea's, who I'm talking about. Not a lot in this one. So because she's in that stand-up piece of hollowed out log, but definitely this setup, and this is basically the setup right here. If you imagine Nikita out right there, that's the painting that Shanti did for me for winning her contest. So again, I'm holding the camera, so please be easy on me. Again, this MD that I have kind of makes my hands not stable, so I'm trying to do my best, and I can't fit the tripod right here. When we start working with the other camera, I'll be able to put the tripod here, or we'll film on the other side of the room if I have to, with the handheld video recorder, I guess. So yeah, great story about this is I filmed all the other part of the Tarantula tag. I did all the questions sitting here, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just film this part after I'm all done. And guess what I forgot to do? Well, I forgot to film this part. Well, guess how far into the uploading I was? 92% uploaded, and I realized, oh shit, I forgot to do the favorite setup. So I was going to just add it as a extra, you know, edit. I didn't know if I could edit in more after the video was up. I know I could edit text and you know, thumbnails and other stuff, but I didn't know if I could add extra videos to it. So I kind of decided just to kill the upload and add this all back in. There is Nikita right there in all her wonderful glory. And you could see what she's done. She's got a complete web ground. She molted back there. She likes to stay back there, so actually quite pleased. You know, what I was thinking about was putting a bunch of leaves and stuff on top here, just to kind of give her some cover, but I think she's perfectly fine the way that she is. So they will burrow, believe it or not, if you give them the opportunity to, and you kind of mimic from where they're at. I know people have used Spanish moss, just put a heap of it in there, and they'll just dig down inside of it and web a tunnel in there, and that's where they'll live. But yeah, definitely my favorite setup. So yeah, look forward to the last part of this video that I already filmed, but will be coming up after this, and we'll see everybody later. Again, I hope you guys enjoy the Tarantula tag. Okay, so I screwed something up when I said there's going to be 12 questions to answer, and then the 13th would be the one that we'd ask. Actually, no, there was 11. We were ending it at the enclosure. I hope you enjoyed the real quick tour of Nikita's enclosure. It's a favorite enclosure that I've done, basically because it's in an Exoterra, but I really do enjoy my Tarantella over here, the Olivacea. I also enjoy that one. It was kind of a toss-up between the two, and basically because they're in Exoterras, and I could do a little bit more with them. It's not your basic, you know, plastic thing with some dirt and a couple decorations, and boom, you're done. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope it inspires some people to, you know, make something that's kind of similar for that tarantula. Yes, they will burrow, and yes, they should burrow. She hasn't. She just likes, she made that web behind that area, like I showed you for, basically that's her den and that's her burrow. She just didn't dig it. She just went back there and made it her own. So question number 12, and of course I wouldn't have question number 12 because I'm starting this. So I went back to Tarantula Cat, who started Tarantula tag number 1, and said, hey, ask me a question that I could use for number 12. And I'm not exactly the exact wording that she said, but what opinion do I have that is basically not favorable in the hobby? So basically, opinion that's mine that not a lot of people believe or not a lot of people agree with. And I think it's enclosure sizes, really, to be honest with you, because I really don't think that you need these big, huge monster enclosures for them. And my reasoning is because the enclosure itself is their den, it's their burrow, it's their home. So as long as they can move around a little bit, you know, give them a couple inches on either side, I think they're perfectly fine, to be honest with you. And, you know, you could take a fossorial species such as, we'll say, like a king baboon or a Plenibus muticus, and you could put them in an enclosure about this wide, okay, and about this long, and then about this tall, and just fill it with dirt, and then leave about this much on top for you to work with. And if you go back to Petko's video where he did a tour in Poland, at Krakow, I think that's Spider's World EU, I think that's where he was at. You've seen how they set up their fossorials. They were really, really thin and really, really good ideas. So they don't need a lot of room. They just need to feel comfortable. And if they feel comfortable, they're going to eat, they're going to molt, they're going to thrive, and they'll be breedable. So that's really all you really need to do. I start to get out, I want to give them more room because I get these visions about what I want the enclosure to look like. So that's kind of why I do the things that I do. And a lot of people really do that, If you only have one and you want to spoil it, that's great. But when you start getting 20, 30, 40, 50 of them, enclosure size starts to be a worry unless you have a whole room that you can dedicate to them. So now my turn here to tag two people. And these are probably two of my best friends. I have a lot of great friends and a lot of great people that I met. I tagged Dave Scott in the last one, so I'm going to skip you this time, Dave, even though I can look across the lake and basically see him. I can just barely make him out. But yeah, we're just right across the lake from each other. I'm great friends with Trey and April. Jay from Boxing Boa. There's just a ton of people that I'm really, really good friends with. But the two people that I talk to all the time, and one that constantly is always on my, always commenting on my videos, and that's Andrew from Andrew's Tarantulas. We are like kindred spirits. We're just like two of the same people, two peas in a pod. Everything about him is me, and everything about me is him. We just relate to each other really, really well. So, Andrew, my question to you is, if you could go out into nature, and I don't know if this question was asked to you before, it may have been, but I probably should have watched your tag video to make sure you didn't answer this question, but I'm going to ask it to you anyway. If you could see any tarantula in situ, or basically in nature where they're actually from, what tarantula would that be and why? And don't tell me crap like, oh, I want to go to Brazil, so we're going to pick the LP. Pick something that's really, really intrigues you and you want to know more about it and more where it's from. Now, going to that country is a bonus, of course, but so yeah, answer that question for me, Andrew. And Kat from Kat's Tarantulas, I'm going to tag her. And then these two are going to start bouncing that ping pong ball across the Atlantic. And Kat, my question to you is, I wrote this down, and I wrote it down very small. I write real tiny because of my long last name. I learned that back when I was in grade school. Kat, what is the best thing about you doing YouTube? What is your channel, doing the videos? What do you feel is the biggest thing that you're getting out of doing the videos? So answer those two questions for me, you two. And I will link them down below when they do their videos. They'll get put in the playlist. And again, I will upload this video, and then I will add the links for Super Tarantella, Winton Night, and Spydey Vee down in the description. And also remember, I will add the PayPal me account. Again, don't feel obligated to do it. The money is all going, the first part of that money is all set to go for something new for camera work, and then some of the money that comes in will go for shipping costs for doing some future giveaways, because I have 10 Lasiodora difficilis and probably around 30 Lasiodora paraibonic coming here. I cannot keep them all. Definitely cannot keep them all. So I also have the mature male Neoholthal insect coming and the GBB coming. So we'll possibly have egg sacs from them in the near future, and also my Davus Penaloris will be ready to go here in probably another couple weeks. So yeah, if you want to help out, down below you'll see that that link, and then again the merchandise stuff from Teesprings, that link will be down below. Again, don't feel obligated, and I think I said it before, the coffee cup and the tote are probably the two best things that I like the most out of all that stuff. And I haven't even bought anything yet. So I was kind of hoping that people would buy some stuff, and then I would use the money that I made for that to buy something for myself. But yeah, because the expo's this weekend, and we have a bunch of stuff coming up. My windshield cracked in my damn car, so we got to get that replaced. Yeah, but stupid stuff. Life is life. Yeah, and this I want to answer one other question, because a couple people have asked me this, and people are asking me about this a lot, and I appreciate everybody's good thoughts and well wishes. The myotonic dystrophy that I have is not really that bad. It's what the bad part about it was the cramps that I was getting from upper body, in my neck, in my arms here, in my arms back here, and then these muscles here and in my back. Those I would have horrible cramps, and it's not really like a cramp where it's going, it's like this, a spasm. It's this. The muscle just locks up. Well, since taking the medication that they put me on, it's not gone, but it's subsided to a more tolerable point. The only drawback is the medication makes me tired. So I have a hard time motivating. I have a list of stuff I need to do, and I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I turn on the TV. Before you know it, it's 3 o'clock and I haven't done any of it. And that's just horrible motivation. And part of it's because I'm not working and there's not really a lot of responsibility. Once I get back to work, everything should go better. So thanks everybody that's asking about that. The ankle is doing the ankle thing. We'll know more in a couple more weeks. Got 2.5 more weeks in this boot. It's basically like a cast, so I'm wearing it all the time. The only time I don't wear it is when I'm laying here in bed. I need to wear it when I'm walking around in the house. Sometimes I don't, but don't tell the doctor. And at night. Yeah. So again, I want to thank everybody for worrying about me and supporting the channel and all the comments. I'm trying to do a much better job of answering all that stuff. And this video is going to be super long only because it's the first one. I hope everybody else, kind of tones it down so it's not, 25 minutes, 30 minutes, however long this is going to be. I think we're going to be probably over 20, 25 minutes when it's all said and done. But again, yeah, don't forget to go check out those channels. And I appreciate everybody. And have a great day. I hope you guys enjoy the new Tarantula Tag Part 2, the ping pong ball across the Atlantic. And have a great day.